Hello gang, hello friends, hello gang friends. Welcome back, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to do something that terrifies me. Join me. I'm scared. I have been following Ball Pit Addict. She's an amazing nail artist and she does these really quick tutorials that make things look easy. So we're going to try it today. We'll jump straight into it, but I am scared because I've not done characters. Oh, the King's Speech and Inner Peace. We're going to mix those together to try and get the colour that she uses. I've done rabbits and reindeers and I don't know what else, but no characters that have to look a certain way to look like who they are. Does that make sense? I think it does. And I've just been scared of it forever because if you do it wrong, then it looks like the crappy version of a Disney toy that you get from a grabby machine on the pier that's not an official Disney toy. It's a knockoff and there's something wrong about it. So that's why I've been scared, but we're going to try it today. I mixed those two colours and I took angelic purple as well, and then we're going to ombre them together. But don't worry at all about your ombre. It's just a way to get the two colours on without there being a join line and it only being one sort of layer, although we're going to do two coats. But don't worry about the blend because SpongeBob's going to cover it up anyway. I just want to jump in here using a video of my Dexter dog, who's the black lab, playing with a dog called Maisie. I just wanted to jump in to mention that I did redo this nail last night. I didn't film it because I'd already edited the video, and I do it exactly the same, but because I'd already done it, I thought I could do it better learning from things that maybe I wasn't happy about in this one, which I do talk about in this video. So, and it will also show, I'll show it at the end, it will also show how practice, doing something once and then doing it a second time can make a difference just from learning and practice making. I'm not going to say it's perfect at all, but making improvements. Although I did just show it to a friend and she said she didn't see any difference whatsoever. But I will show them both at the end and you can see how doing something once looks and then how doing it exactly the same but a second time and just being a bit more sort of not concentrating a bit more, but just sort of putting a bit more effort into it and learning from my mistakes. So I'll show you at the end, stick around for that. So we're curing that, we do two coats and we're taking Madame Glam's brown gel paint to do the outline of all this because it will cover but also show through to be able to see it once we've filled it all in. So this is the important bit. We've got two straight lines and then we're doing a wiggle along the top, up, down. I should have done this wiggle neater, more sort of even wiggles and symmetrical wiggles, but it was 2 a.m. And then the same along the bottom of that straight line, wiggly wiggle. And then we're going to do one down here, which I do an awful job of. I should have made the wiggles more pronounced, but that's to show that everything to the right of that wiggle is the sort of side of SpongeBob. And then we've got a straight line across here, nice and easy. And then a straight line in that rectangle, but in line with the wiggle, because that again is showing the side. And then we're doing 4 little lines, sort of evenly spaced apart. And then we're going to join 2 of them up. And they're his trouser legs. No, they're shorts, aren't they? Leg holes. And then again, we're going to just do some straight lines coming out of those for his skinny little legs. And then you can flash cure as you go. I think I was full curing parts of it as I went, just to be safe in case I needed to wipe anything. And then we have a little circle at the bottom and another one on the other side, which I do end up kind of squaring out a bit when I fill it in, which I kind of regret. There's lots of things I regret about this nail. And then we've got another 2 circles just a bit lower, and then we will join them. We're going to take the bottom of that circle and join it to the top of that one, and then the bottom to the bottom. So bottom to the top and then bottom to the bottom. There we go. This bit, I did 16 minutes of trying to do this bit. They all looked exactly the same, but I just convinced myself that there's no way I'd be able to get it correct any sooner. So I just kept redoing it. So we've done an egg, sort of fat egg. It's not so much narrow at the top. It's like an oval circle, kind of halfway between the two. And then the other one coming out from that. So the one on the right overlaps. And I know I'm pretty much saying exactly what she says in her video, but just slower. But she describes it very well. And then we've got a little curve coming out from between them and then a big curve joining that. And his nose is going into one of the eyes, just sort of a curve up and then another curve to join that. And then again, 4 little straight lines, evenly spaced apart, and then join up 2 of them at the bottom. That's his toothy pegs. And then we're going to cure, and we're going to take Lightborn, which is Madame Glam. I think everything I'm using is Madame Glam. And they're the Ultra Liner. And we're going to fill in his body and his legs with this. But because I find yellow to be a bit of a bastard sometimes, like I find it crinkles easy. So you have to kind of do thin coats. I mean, I found this with most brand yellows. So there is kind of a fine line between it being covered in, you know, giving enough coverage, but not too thick that it crinkles. So I did end up going over this again after I'd filled in his eyes and teeth, because I wanted to keep it thin. But once I've got it on, I'm going to sort of wiggle my brush all over it to make sure that it's the same thickness all over. There's no patches that are thicker. And then we'll go round the eyes and over the nose. So you can't see it very well here, but I can see the brown through the yellow still. So it's fine for, you know, we're not covering up everything we've just done. I think she left the gaps for the teeth. She didn't go over those in yellow, but I did. I'm going to say it was because I was going to get neater white teeth, like filling them in white by doing it on top of the yellow, than leaving gaps. But it's not. I just wasn't paying attention. Now we're taking the white gel paint and we're going to fill in the eyes and the teeth. Oh, so everything from Madame Glam. Oh, did any of you, I saw a few of you said that you'd had a bit of a spree on their 50% off day with the code I gave you. So that's brilliant. You can get 30% off, a whopping 30% off Madame Glam all year round using the code MISSJO30 and the link in the description. And there's loads of other links for other places in there as well. So always go check that out. Born Pretty, McCart, Betsy, and more. The brush that I'm using here is the Crystal Nail Zero Short. I used the Ultra Liner, the Madame Glam one, to fill in his body. And then this is the Zero Long from Crystal Nails. Then we're going to do the top half of that rectangle underneath him in white. And I decided to take it at an angle here to give the kind of side view, but I end up changing my mind and fixing that. So I would just go straight across, because the line going down that we're painting over now, that does the job. So I didn't really need to do that, because otherwise I should have done his body doing that as well, but I didn't. So we're going to follow the wiggly line and just fill in that top half. Yeah, I was so scared to do this, because if something wasn't right, it would just look so bad. And there are lots of things I would change. I think his legs are too short. I think, I don't know, the wiggles weren't right. But for a first attempt, I'm okay with it. I've made my peace. So now I'm using the brown gel paint. You don't have to use gel paints for these. You can use gel polish. But the gel paints are nice because they're super opaque. And you don't need sort of 2 coats of them ever. And we're going to fill the bottom half of that rectangle in, and his little leg holes. I think this is the easiest part of it, is colour blocking and filling all the bits in. The main thing is getting the first step down where we drew him, and the way she broke it down into shapes and everything just made it so simple. And I've said before, you know, breaking everything down into shapes is the way to go. Instead of trying to sort of freehand certain things, get the shapes around it. And if that shape is square but actually has a curve on one side, we'll get the square and then add the curve. And then when you fill it in, obviously you don't see the outlines. So that was the most important step. And it did seem, it was pretty straightforward. A lot of rectangles. So I've just wiped off where I was going to do the brown bit, and I'll make that white bit straighter as well. And then we do red for his tie, but I wanted to put white down first so that the red wasn't darker over the brown. So I'm doing just a little white V, and then when we put the red down, it'll be the same colour all over. And we're taking the red gel paint. Oh, look at that red. And we're going to do a dot, and then I'm going to cure that dot, because when you do this bit, I didn't want to lose the shape of the dot by pulling out from it. It was losing its circularity. And then we'll fill that in. And again, I did some flash curing, but mostly full curing, because I was just concerned that if I did mess up and I needed to wipe, I didn't want to lose what I'd done. So full curing is not going to do any harm. Now we're mixing a khaki green with a yellow to get a kind of muddy, mossy green, and then a bit of brown as well, just to darken it up a bit. I can't remember what we're doing with this. Oh, we outline parts of him. So we're going to outline the top with this. I should have done it thicker, and I'm still annoyed that my wiggles aren't even wiggles. I might just paint him again and just learning from my mistakes. I feel like if I did it again, it would be better, because I know what I would do better. So we're going to go over that wiggle and down this wiggle, and then also along the bottom wiggle of his body. And then we will probably cure just to be safe. And then we're going to add some more, I think, brown maybe to that colour. And we're going to do some dots, some like sponge holes on the yellow areas. Oh no, more green. And we'll do some big dots and some smaller dots. I was wondering, if you like this, whether you want to see more videos with the rest, because I think she's done, I know she's done Patrick, Squidward, and I think Sandy, but I don't know if there's a video for it. But if you want to see more, let me know, because I had a lot of fun doing this. And when it kind of looked like who it was meant to look like, and that was what I surprised myself with. But the she does make it so easy to follow just by breaking it down into shapes. So I'm definitely up for trying some more characters. We'll start with, you know, simple cartoony people. I'm not going to try and draw a lifelike painting of an existing human being. That would be terrifying. Maybe one day. So we cured that. Now we're going to use the black gel paint to fill in his shoes. And we're kind of outlining everything again as we do it, and then just filling in between. And I do change his heel a bit on the one on the right there, I think. And then once we've done that, we just start outlining everything and adding in, is there more details? There's a couple more details. Oh, look at me lying. I decided to add part of his sleeve, which I don't think was in the video, but because his arm would be obviously on the side. So I'm imagining his arm is just off the nail. So I've done an upside down U, but as if you did a lid on the U and filled it in, but half of that and upside down in white. And then we're just going to outline everything that we've already done with the black gel paint. Why was I saying about, oh yeah, so I was asking if you wanted to see more of these, you know, me following someone else's tutorial or eventually trying to figure things out for myself. But I also have, so I'm going to film tonight, so I suppose I need to just do it. And even if you don't like this, the next video might be Patrick. But I had some polishes arrive from Vetsy today, really nice polishes, so I need to think of something to do with those. Oh, I fix up his teeth. See, the lines aren't very neat. There we go. I fixed them up a smidge. And then we'll go around the eyeballs. One of the polishes was called Breath. I'm wondering whether it was meant to be called Breathe. Maybe Breathe's a bit nicer. There was a paint swatch that I got years ago. Do I need to be talking? I'm just outlining very carefully with the 0 long brush, and you can see just the very tip of the brush with a very light touch. Eyes, we want on the same level, so dots as guides, and then we'll make bigger dots, and then we're going to do a semicircle around them, and we'll fill it in with blue, which I did, and then I think I changed to the blue gel paint from Madame Glam. Oh, and we also outline the top around here, which is why I wish I'd done that sort of mossy colour a bit thicker. Oh, I think I need to do them again, don't I? We'll see. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there was a paint swatch I got years ago, and it was called Elephant's Breath. And like so many other things in the world, it like makes me wonder how it got past the control phase. Because I imagine like a bunch of people sat around a big desk naming products, and someone goes, what about elephant's breath? And not a single person like put their hand up and went, have you seen an elephant brush their teeth? You know? And everyone would be like, oh yeah, fair point. But no, not a single person thought that elephant's breath sounded unappealing in the slightest. Anyway, once I'm back on camera, we could do more, what do we call it? Paint nails, no words. I'll add breath and breathe to the spelling section. Nails, I'm still outlining. We're going to take this line across the leg holes. And I did go back the next day and just neaten up some areas. This bit here, where I join these, see there was a tiny gap. I went and filled that in. And a bit here as well, I think. But nothing that would be different to what I'm showing here. It's just me looking at it and being pernickety. And then we'll outline his legs, which I don't know if I don't think they're long enough. The nail she did on was a lot longer. So maybe I was just trying to squeeze everything in. Don't forget this line down the side here. That's it. And I'm going to outline his sleeve, half a sleeve. If you did want to include his arm, I would put that in at the beginning stages when you're doing your outlines and everything, because you would be filling it in separate as you start to colour block everything. So now we're going to do the little blue bits in between his pupil and the blue bits. The blue bits. What they called? The colour bits? The iris? Maybe? And then some little rectangles on his trousers. I've just this second realised what the fuck these are. It's a belt, right? And the gaps are it going through a belt loop? Maybe? I didn't know what they were when I was painting them, but he had them. Is it a belt? I can't think what else it would be. Yeah, it must be a belt. And they're belt loops where the gaps are. So little rectangles. To get them neat at the end, I sort of try to just bring them, do little separate lines like this and start and finish them at the same point, so that you don't have too much to kind of square off at the end. But if you can, then just square them off a smidge. And then just bring the outline to the side. I think where her nail was bigger, she didn't have these sides outlined of him because he took up more. He was taller, therefore he could be wider. Therefore, there were no side bits. And the lashes, we did one straight line and then one either side of it coming in at an angle, and then 2 little V's for his collar. And, oh yeah, this bit. Some red and some brown. I did wipe my brush before going into the brown, but just the way I've edited it looks like I didn't. And then adding some yellow to sort of peach it up a bit. It's like a corally colour. And we're going to do his mouth, which is just down, up, just a wiggle. But I did make note of where it started, to the right of that tooth and to the left of the left tooth, but not as far to the left of the left tooth as it was right from the right tooth, you know? And then a little C and 3 dots. which I did about 12 times. I don't know why. If I do something and it looks okay on the first time, I just don't believe it. I just don't think, like, why would I have got it right first time? No, let's wipe it off and do it 7 more. And then we're velvet topping. And oh Lord, I wish I'd have left it there, but I didn't, because I went back in last night and changed some bits. His eye on the right, you see the pupil isn't round enough, so it's kind of almost got a V or a U shape, but I wanted it more round. So I fixed some things and then shiny top coated. Then thought no matte, so matte topped again. Then thought no shiny, so shiny topped again. Then there was a wiggle in the light line, so I shiny topped again, and now it's just full of bubbles, which has really, I've pissed myself off because, I don't know, I've just made little air bubbles all through it. So I think I just need to do it all again and not be so damn indecisive. And here is both of them. So the one on the right is the second one. It's on a smaller nail, a slightly smaller nail, but I don't know if you can see a difference. His body is bigger, sort of longer. I think the proportions are a bit better. I used a different yellow. I used a new Vetsy yellow, which I'll show you in a video soon. Oh, so this one's going to go away now. Sorry, SpongeBob. Bye. And I also gave him socks, which was just a white line on the leg curving into the black shoe. So it ends in a curve with a black line as the outline and then a blue and a red stripe. His tie is neater. It's more of a tie knot at the top. His collar doesn't come all the way down to the bottom of the white. Just little things like that I changed. So let me know if you think there's any difference whatsoever. I just wasn't comfortable. I needed to redo it. I hope you like it. If you do like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Thank you to Bullpit for the tutorial and you guys for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.